Hello, everyone. It's End Times Talk, and I wanted to come at you with a video pertaining to some information that's going on with the banking industry right now with these couple of banks that have collapsed, Signature Bank and Silicon Valley Bank. I truly feel that the Illuminati is trying to trick us into bank runs to help them bring forward their digital currency. That way, we accept that digital currency by our own actions. You see what I'm saying? That they can't force it on us. They can't force the beast system on us. Biblically speaking, by spiritual law, how silence is consent. With the Satanists, we all know this. But if we make the move first, then they can come in. If we make the crisis, they can come in and save the day, so to speak. All right, and I think it kind of reminds me of Y2K when they were scaring the whole entire world into thinking that the sky was going to fall, and as soon as the year went from 1999 and rolled over into the year 2000 because things hadn't been programmed correctly, but they were selling all these new computers and hey, this is okay for Y2K, you'll make it through, and Y2K came and went, nothing happened, okay. But they were able to scare the world into a computer upgrade. And without Y2K, there never would have been a 9/11. And let me tell you that, folks, that's the truth. All right. So likewise, I think they're pulling some of the same levers and whatnot to the Illuminati are to try to scare people into giving up their financial freedoms that they have right now. That's not really exactly freedoms, but to scare us into bank runs so that we go and pull our money out, and that way they can come in with this digital currency solution. All right, even for those people who leave their money in the banks, people don't understand this whole situation with the FDIC. Your money is insured all the way up to $250,000. All right, and so even if the banks do collapse, which I don't think that all of them are collapsing, I think they're trying to trick us into a collapse. All right, but what I feel is that even though if something does happen, that your money is going to be insured into that new digital currency, because we all know this digital currency is coming whether we like it or not. Some might have, because of some people, we might have it sooner, but rather than later, but we all know that it's coming. We know that we're in a recession. We know that we're approaching we're teetering into depression. All right, these things are inevitable right now, especially with the way inflation is and all that stuff. It's crazy what's going on. Central Valley Bank dealt with high risk securities. They gathered to startups and tech companies, and they invested too much of their income into bonds, leaving them with too little liquid assets. All right, so they didn't have enough liquid assets to sell off to be able to save themselves. All right, because of their own financial stupidity, realistically, is what it was. All right, Signature Bank was also involved involved heavily in cryptocurrency. All right, which in and of itself is not only volatile but also a very large risk for banks to do. All right, so because of their own financial decisions, the people who led these banks, that's the reason why they're collapsing. This isn't because of the economy or the financial market. It's because these banks chose to operate in a way that was risky. That's what in and of itself is what has happened here and why these banks have collapsed. But the mainstream media, I believe, is trying to use this information to scare people into thinking the sky is falling with the financial system. All right, and you have a lot of people, parroting that stuff and on YouTube and on mainstream media and in social media, okay? And they're proclaiming that the sky is falling right now. If the sky was falling, it would have fell on Monday. All right, and here we are on Wednesday, and our economy is still as it was. There's just a couple of banks down, all right, but everybody's saying, there's 10 banks and 7 banks, and I've heard so many different stories as to how many banks are truly collapsing, but realistically, we're only seeing 2 banks have collapsed. More banks collapsed in 2009 than what's happening right now, people. All right, there was 100 and something banks that collapsed in 2009, and right now we've only got 2. All right, so I want to put it into perspective for people, because there's a lot of people that are getting scared and worried because of things that YouTubers are saying, things that people in social media are saying. I don't think that we're as bad as they're trying to say that we are, because like I said, they want to scare us into bank runs. They need the people to go pull out their money to destabilize the system so that way they have the answer for the chaos that people are causing. All right. And ultimately, it kind of comes down to the same thing with the toilet paper in 2019 and 2020, this shortage of toilet paper. They scared people into thinking there's not enough, butt tickets, all right, for to go around. And so people started hoarding it, and because of that, there wasn't enough butt tickets to go around. I mean, it realistically was people's own doing that caused the crisis. You see what I'm saying? And it took a while to bounce back from that because of people just rushing to the store and buying up as much as they can. It's realistically, people are trying to preserve themselves so much that it's turning into kind of like it's playing into greed. All right. And God doesn't want you to be greedy. All right. It says freely we have received, so freely give. All right. And this money that people have in the banks, if you do have any in the bank, I live from check to check, from hand to mouth. I mean, it's crazy. I don't have any extra money for myself whatsoever. And we have a very small budget for food every 2 weeks, and for a 3-person family. I mean, there's a lot of families that are living the same way, like me and my family have to. But ultimately, there are some people who do have money in the banks, but this money is insured by the FDIC, and they legally are obligated to insure that. They're obligated to follow through with that. People are not going to lose their money if they leave it in the bank and things do collapse. They're just going to bring forth the digital currency because we know that's coming, and people's credit will be transferred over to that new system. Realistically, is what's going to happen. All right. So we're going to have a digital currency sooner if we act on all these fears. And that's what I think is truly going on right now. So I wanted to make this short video and let people know what I'm hearing about the financial markets. And I want to make sure people are educated and aware as to what's actually happening, and not just people playing on fear and giving their biased opinions on the news and making it out to be more than what it actually is. All right, I wanted to put things into perspective for people. I appreciate you guys watching End Times Talk. Thanks so much. Please like, share, and subscribe, and may God bless you, and may God keep you.